بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا الشمس كورت وإذا النجوم انكدرت وإذا الجبال سيرت وإذا العشار عطلت وإذا الوحوش حشرت وإذا البحار سجرت وإذا النفوس زوجت وإذا الموءودة سئلت بأي ذنب قتلت وإذا الصحف نشرت وإذا السماء كشطت وإذا الجحيم سعرت وإذا الجنة أزلفت علمت نفس ما أحضرت فلا أقسم بالخنس الجوار الكنس والليل إذا عسعس والصبح إذا تنفس إنه لقول رسول كريم ذي قوة عند ذي العرش مكين مطاع ثم أمين وما صاحبكم بمجنون ولقد رآه بالأفق المبين وما هو على الغيب بضنين وما هو بقول شيطان رجيم فأين تذهبون إن هو إلا ذكر للعالمين لمن شاء منكم أن يستقيم وما تشاءون إلا أن يشاء الله رب العالمين.
Hey, what's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Peace. Happy Friday, Juma Mubarak. You know, we got to do a sound check first. Let me know if you can hear me. I don't think I need this fan. It ain't all that hot. All right. Yeah. Mark Soul, man, what's happening? My man Reflecto, Lady Quantum Mystic, what's happening? We good? Mic clear? We good to go? We good to proceed to give you what you need? Yes. Can I get a second confirmation on the mic? We good? And yeah, I'm going through that mic right there. We good? Okay, cool. Appreciate it. All right, so Juma Mubarak. Shalom Shabbat. Happy Friday to everyone. Let's get started with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu ala Khadijah. Sallallahu ala Fatima. Sallallahu ala Ali. And sallallahu ala the Al-Bayt. All right. So today is a very, very, very good question. Why would Allah create Satan or the devil? Let's go to English. Why would God create a devil? And I believe that this question is one that I think a lot of humans have, if not every human who believe in God. It's just no way possible you can believe in God and never had the internal silent question of, well, why you do that? What's the purpose? What you do that for, right? I'm also of the belief that a failure not to understand what is being conveyed in scriptures when it comes to God and devil, failure not to get the understanding of why God would create the devil creates what I call unconscious atheism. Not knocking atheism, but the person says they are a believer. So they're not an atheist by their own conscious reflection, but we won't get to that truth until usually the person is faced with some type of severe adversity, such as your children may have died or something just horrific happens. Even if you witness something that happens, you know, you don't understand it. And it's like, God, where are you? For what? What's the purpose of allowing this murderer to come and kill the kids in the house? Like, that don't make no sense, right? And so what happens is when that goes unchecked, unanswered, we start to develop a dissonance and a distance, which is really the definition of Shayṭān, and I'm going to show you. We start to develop a distance towards God, unbeknownst to ourselves. It's happening subconsciously and unconsciously because the frontal lobe of the conscious mind is not aware of it. So again, when asked, do you believe? You say, yeah, I believe. But when adversity comes and I ask you, do you believe? You say, I don't know. I'm not sure, right? And this has to get, in my opinion, resolved. Because one thing I'll tell you this from what I observed from studying science, psychology, it's really psychiatry, and studying the works of Dr. Brian Weiss. It's a phenomenal work, and it's a plateau that we're going to have to reach inside of this concept or this reality known as past life. We're gonna have to touch that. When things go unanswered, that is like a guarantee recipe for creating a new scenario in life that will force you to reflect and gain the understanding. So sometimes we will attract situations in our life so we can pass the test, so we can gain the understanding, because just because it's not in the conscious mind doesn't mean that it's not being radiated through the subconscious and through what we would call the field. Okay. Even more so because the subconscious mind is more powerful than the conscious mind. Okay. So we have to get some divine understanding of this immediately. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. In the beautiful Bible, I form the light and create darkness. Notice the contrast. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. There's no devil creating evil according to this particular statement. The Lord is the one that's creating the evil. So it's interesting because if we kind of just go up to any Christian in the sense and say, hey, who creates evil? Nobody gives the author of evil, they don't get a Lord as credit for creating evil. It's the devil who does it. It's Satan who does it. It's the serpent who does it. It's never the Lord. But in this verse here, it said, hey, the Lord does it. There's no devil. And let me be clear. Today's conversation, so now I got to back up a slide. Today's conversation is, I'm approaching what I'm going to term the metaphysics of Shayṭān and Iblīs. I'm not talking about a physical entity. I'm not talking about a formless entity. I'm not talking about their ranks, the lieutenant, in Kabbalah, we have something known as the Goetia. And you have a archdemon, then a demon under him, and then and so forth and so forth. And on the other side, you got archangels, then angels under them, lieutenants and sergeants, and all of that stuff. I'm not talking about that today. I'm simply talking about the mindset, the metaphysics of the mind. Because the beautiful thing is this, alhamdulillah for this. For the most part, the Satan as an entity only really he doesn't physically come out as this burning entity and attack people. He may use other people in a sense, or he may have a suggestion, a whisper. We're going to talk about that, right? It's never really, majority of humanity don't appear, at least, and this could be a mind trick for sure. I want to say majority of humanity doesn't appear to be possessed to a point where it is a great disturbance, because we may all be possessed, right? But I want to talk about, it's people out there that's really possessed, you know what I mean? So I know you kind of get what I'm saying, right? All right, so I'm going to talk about the metaphysics of it, okay? All right. So again, it's the Lord that's creating this. Here's a beautiful saying in the Qur'an. Two different translations. So we have Piqtal and we have Madudi. And they scheme, and Allah schemed. And Allah is the best of schemers. Then they scheme, and Allah countered their schemes by a scheme of his own. Allah is the best of schemers. Ooh, Allah is a schemer? Have you ever heard of that? Oh, we got to have this conversation. I ain't right. This is translation in the Quran that Allah is a schemer. So here it is this way. And then they planned, or they scheme and plan Allah, and Allah is the best of planners. Planners and scheme is the same word. Well, makaru at the top, right? And markina at the bottom. So you can see, okay, it must be MKR as the root. And when we look at this root, ladies and gentlemen, we come to deceive, a double cross. We come to the very bottom, cunning, slyness. And I said, wait a minute, deception and trickery. I said, wait a minute, cunning? I remember that being used in the Bible. Now, the serpent was more cunning, but here it is in Qur'an. Allah is being associated with a schemer, a double crosser. Oh, we don't talk about that. So the thing that breaks it all open for me is it's another one of my favorite verses ever. And I mean ever. This is probably definitely in my top 5. This is Job in the Bible, who's also in Quran. And this is why I say you cannot be a student of Quran and not be a student of Bible. The Quran don't even give you the full story of the biblical stories. Okay. Then said his wife unto him, do thou still retain thy integrity? Curse God and die. And he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Question mark. Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. So in other words, he said the evil is from God too. And they said for all that Job said, he didn't say nothing wrong in other translations. So to put the evil on God, that's not wrong, because the previous verse we just saw, the Lord creates evil. So the trick is, listen, if we think, go back to the original question, why would God create a devil? Somewhere we're going to have to really deduce and just come down to the bottom line of, well, sir, madam, that make you a devil for creating a devil, because it can only be that which you put into existence. It comes from you because we're taught that God is the author of all things. So then by proxy, you would be a devil, because you thought of the devilish things, and all things come from you. Okay. All right. So ain't no wiggling around that. But we got to figure out how to wiggle around it in a sense. All right. Make it make sense. All right. So here's one of my favorite hadiths narrated by Aisha. One night I missed Allah's messenger from the bed. And when I sought him, my hand touched the soles of his feet while he was in the state of sujood. We're going to talk about that. Remember that prostration. They, talking about his feet, were raised, and he was saying, "Oh Allah, I seek refuge in thy pleasure from thy anger, and in thy forgiveness from thy punishment, and I seek refuge in thee from thee." I don't like that they put thy anger here because anger was already talked about. See, anytime you see it in the bracket, that's the author saying this is what they talking about. But what if the author who's doing this don't know what they talking about? They just really make an honest mistake, right? Everything else was a duality. Pay attention. I seek refuge in thy pleasure from thy anger. Pleasure and anger, first duality. In thy forgiveness from thy punishment, second duality. And I seek refuge in thee from thee, not thy anger. No, from the other side of yourself is what it's talking about. It then goes on to narrate, I cannot reckon thy praise. Thou art as thou hast lauded thyself. Okay? So here we have a hadith in which the Rasulullah is seeking refuge in Allah from Allah. Whoa, whoa. That's totally different from a Udu Bilay Shayṭān Ibrahim. Oh, say I seek refuge from I seek refuge in Allah from Satan. No, I seek refuge in Allah from Allah. Now, here's the kicker. I'm just going to have to kind of spill the beans. The moment that we attribute anything that happens in reality and give the credit to someone else, Shayṭān, whoever, you become polytheistic. La ilaha illallah. Nothing exists, no reality exists. There is nothing to deify but Allah. So you can't make Satan your God if Satan works under the command of the permission of Allah. So we can't have it both ways. Okay? All right. So here's the science to it. God and the devil is talking about Isaac Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. In other words, F, that is not 12 in the blue box. That's F, the first object exerting its force on the second object is equal to force from the second object exerting its force on the first object. Because in that case, it looked like F12 should equal minus F12, or F21 should equal minus F21. No, it's talking about the 1 and 2 here is talking about the first and second object. Okay, it's just reverse. So we're talking about the laws of motion. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Let's take our time. Nothing sits still. Number one, everything is oscillating, everything is vibrating. Cells, whatever, every single thing. There's no such thing as sitting still. Okay? That's number one. The moment that we set things in motion, we are creating a counter current. In other words, think about the car that burns rubber and kicks rocks in the opposite direction backwards when it is going forward. We do the same thing with our feet when we kick up things. When you look into it a little bit deeper, it's kind of like we are carving out a thing. That's what motion does. If you do it hard enough, you can burn rubber, peel rubber onto the concrete. You do it hard enough, you can kick up dirt. You write on something, the pen, the definition for the pen literally means to carve out. So you're carving on the paper. So anytime there is motion, You're carving the thing in motion is carving the thing that it is on or in. You do it with cooking. When you crack an egg, when you mix ingredients, or when you just stir the one thing, you're going in it. You are mixing, you whipping, you are carving. That's motion. Okay? So in order to have good, it can't exist without bad, in a sense. Any type of motion that you create is going to create a countercurrent. It's just the law. Okay? So we got to understand that. All right? Now, look how beautiful Quran is in Surah 36:36. Exalted is he who created all pairs. And look at the verse number. Look at the chapter. Look at the verse. As we call Surah an ayat, 36:36. Is that not a twin? And then it comes and tells you, exalted is he who created all things in pairs. You understand? So for every action, there's an equal reaction. That's a pair. But again, astounded at the Quran that wants to talk about pairs in 3 and 6. 36:36. Playing with us in a sense. When I say playing with us, just showing once again the Jalil of Allah, the majesty of Allah. Okay. All right. Now, the Quran tells us that we, the soul, is inspired with wickedness and righteousness. That's what it says. The human being is inspired with wickedness and righteousness. Root word for wickedness, fajr. Interesting. That's the first prayer that you have to make. I will show you why astronomically, but I'm not going to do that today. Okay? And notice it's in Surah Ash-Shams 91, which deals with the sun, the light, how light dispels darkness at a certain time in the morning, and that you do your Fajr prayer. The Islamic prayers are astronomical prayers. They're astronomical prayers. Okay? All right. So man and woman have this dual nature that we have. We got wickedness and we have righteousness. Okay? So here's the question. Is Shayṭān a state of consciousness? That's the question. Okay? Let's move into some things. Here's a beautiful hadith. And the hadith reads this. This is from Aisha again. Aisha, what has happened to you? Do you feel jealous? Thereupon she said, how can it be that a woman like me should not feel jealous in regard to a husband like you? Thereupon Allah's messenger said, it was your devil who had come to you. And she said, Allah's messenger, is there along with me a devil? He said, yes. I said, is a devil attached to everyone? He said, yes. I, Aisha, again said, Allah's messenger, is it with you also? He said, yes, but my Lord has helped me against him, and as such, I am absolutely safe from his mischief. The two words in red on the right is what? Shayṭān. Shayṭān, known as Satan in English. Yes? All right. So note here that the Rasulullah is saying that everyone has a devil. It's not the devil. It's not the Shayṭān. Everyone has one. Everyone has one. Okay? All right. Cool. Interesting to point out there. So let's talk about the metaphysics of Shayṭān in his other name, Iblīs. Okay? All right. Shayṭān means to be far away. It means to become distant, to be remote, departing from what is good, or being rebellious or defiant. Remember, I said earlier, think about what I said. The failure to be able to understand, I'll keep using kids because I think that's a real pressure point right there. This kid gets hurt, killed, murdered, whatever the case may be. We don't see God then because we say, oh, Allah, how can you do this? This child appears to be innocent, right? We don't see God's glory then. We're not happy at these turn of events. So this creates a distance from Allah. I don't understand that. We bookmark that on a negative and had to self-talk to myself and whisper to myself, you bogus for that one. You bogus, Allah, for that one. For real, for real. So when you become distance from anything, the distance, in this case, distance to understanding the divinity of things, of reality, the distance is Shayṭān. Okay? All right, let's keep that in mind. To be in opposition to righteousness, goodness, kind-heartedness, being nice, having compassion, having mercy. Mercy is a good one. Because mercy, I'm going to keep saying it. I want you to really think about what mercy is. Mercy implies that you are within your right to make a tougher decision about something. But you choose mercy, which means you can give them a lesser sentence in a sense. Yes, but you within due bounds to issue something much harsher. That's mercy. Okay? So to be in opposition of what we would call good qualities, to be in opposition of trying to understand is Shayṭān. Okay? All right, let's move. Mr. Shayṭān appears in the beautiful Qur'an 88 times. You see it says Shayṭān and devils. Okay? 88 times. Let me show you how beautiful my Qur'an is. The word Malik, which means angels, appears 88 times. Shout out to the Delta 88, which I know about that. Let me give you one more Delta 88. The word Quran, root word Qura, excuse me, which means to read or recite, but Quran appears 88 times in Quran. See how beautiful my Quran is? We make everything in pairs, 36, 36. That's a pair. Telling you about a pair in a surah in verse, that's a pair. Now what's going to happen is Quran gives us themes. It gives us principles based upon its numerical frequency, meaning the amount of times it appears in the Quran, to give you contrast. It automatically gives you the solution. So if this is devil, then this is angel. Question is, what is angel? Question is, what is purification? What are these things over here that I must do to circumvent or cancel out things over here? This is Quran. It's a mathematical theology. Okay? So now Shayṭān, who represents to be in opposition to or to be opposite from, is opposite the angel and is opposite the Quran. It's distance from the Quran, distance from the angel. Okay? All right, let's keep cooking. If we look at the Abjad value, talk to him, Noble. Because I must say, alhamdulillah, for the inspiration to create such a thing. So you go to the Abjad value of Shayṭān and you get the value of his name at the root. You want to go to the root of the tree. It equals 359. But 359, I know, is a prime number. So it's the 72nd prime number. And I keep showing y'all the Quran knows about prime numbers. It talks to us in various levels of math, but prime is one of the prime ways it talks to us. So 359 is the 72nd prime. What's the 72nd surah? The Jinn. You see that? You see that? You see how beautiful my Quran is? I'm calling my Quran and my Quran. Okay? You can say what you want to say about the Quran. All right? This is amazing to me because here Shayṭān's name is 359, and that's the 72nd. That's the 72nd prime number. But the 72nd surah itself is the jinn, which is really the minions in the sense of Shayṭān, right? So direct connection. But we wouldn't know that if we had not created two things. One, the creation of your own abjad. What did I tell y'all? You should create a Quranic metaphysical abjad lexicon. All that goes together. Definition of the word, the root word, the value of the root word, how many times it's said in Quran, perhaps even the different ways the word was actually said as well. This is a science. Okay, so we wouldn't have known that this is connected mathematically had we not got the abjad value, nor had we had known this if we did not have the knowledge of a higher branch of mathematics called prime numbers. Okay, all right, let's keep going. Make some more connections for you. So when we look at the word jinn, since we go to the jinn also means, as you can see, when it's used as a passive participle, means a madman. Now, remember the beautiful toy, I was about to say Toy Story, but the kids story, Inside Out, one of my favorite. I like part 1 better than 2, but you had the character Anger. Anger has always been synonymous with fire. We don't never see anger. I was red hot. We never see anger as water, earth, air. When it comes to elements, we equate anger with fire. Again, I was red hot. So the jinn means madman. Okay, hold on. But we're taught that the jinn are created from a smokeless fire. Fire, because once again, fire is synonymous with what? Being angry. Yes? Okay, a smokeless fire, without a shadow of a doubt, you have the infinite. Listen, you want to study the mind of God, it's understanding the electromagnetic spectrum, the one wave that manifests in different forms. Light in itself is an illusion. The wave as it manifests in different forms. If you have strong water content, microwaves will cook you if you got water in you. So microwave is really a smokeless fire in a sense. We see that in our reality. You understand? All right, let's keep going. So now Mr. Shayṭān does this thing called waswas. Waswas means to whisper. Come here, girl. Let me whisper in your ear. Yin Yang song, right? Yin Yang twins. Shayṭān uses waswas, who whispers into the breast of mankind. This is interesting. Bookmark this because we're going to visit this surah, which is the very last surah of the Quran, and how the Quran closes out. Whispers into the breast. Well, what's in the breast? The heart. Let me show you how beautiful my Quran is. Let me show you. Waswas literally has an abjad value of 132. You with me? Waswas is wasin. 660, 660, 132. Okay. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The word heart has an abjad value of 132. Did it say whisper into the breast of men? Some just go ahead and say the hearts, but it don't say heart. It means breast, but it alludes to the heart because it's the place where the heart is. You want to see something else about beautiful my Quran is? Guess what? Not only is the abjad value for the word Qalb for heart is 132, when it says it as Qalb for heart specifically, it is mentioned exactly 132 times. That's the Quran I'm in love with, ladies and gentlemen. This is a scientific mystic book. Okay? Salute to my man in the chat, scientific mystic. This is a scientific mystic book. How you going to have the word as a value 132, but then when you say the word, you say exactly 132 times? And then that's connected to another word in which you said this heart is being whispered into, that has a value of 132 as well. Come on, man. Come on. Tell me the Quran ain't science. Okay? All right. Let's move on. I want you to bookmark this because Waswas appears in the Quran 5 times. Bookmark 5. Okay? All righty. When we look at the word Iblis on corpus, they do not give us a root word. They just give us the proper noun. But Iblis has a root word, ladies and gentlemen. You ready? There it is. Bliss, BLS, appears 5 times in Quran, right there. And it means to be in despair, to be dumbfounded. But what is despair? Despair means to be in a state of mind where you have lost hope. Look at the verb, to stop hoping that things will improve or work out. Look at the noun, a strong feeling that nothing is good and no bad situation will get better. That is horrible. Listen, that's a horrible state of mind. You can't even believe in good things. So Iblis represents this state of being in despair. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right. So your connection. The root word for Iblis, Ba'alam seen, is 92 for the Abjad value. And the root word, the value for prayer or prostrate, which is sajud. Remember I told you that was going to come back? Here it is. That is mentioned 92 times. Now, Iblis means to give up hope, to can't fathom things getting better, but it means to give up hope. If Iblis is a state of consciousness that represents give up hope, its value matches the same word that you do, known as prostrate, sujud, which is also the root word for what? The masjid. So you are the masjid. When you're in this prayer position on the right-hand side, sujud, that's the masjid. The masjid is an external representation of where we come to pray, but it's not prayer itself. You are prayer yourself. You are the state known as sujud yourself. Sallallahu Allah, the fourth Iman. Call him Iman Sajud. Zayn Abidin, the one who is always prostrating. The great grandson of the Rasulullah. I got to say that. I'm going to have to say that. Got a whole book called the Psalms of Islam, full of prayers, like the Psalms of David. I got to say that. You imagine that? The prophet's grandson's son. So that means that's the prophet's great grandson. The prophet's grandson's son has a book on prayer, and we don't know nothing about it. Okay. All right. So when we don't make the prayer and the whisper comes in and we're going against the prayer by not making it, is that Iblis? Interesting. Let me make another connection for you. When we look at the word sujud, so I can prove it. Don't say I made it up. Here it is right here. It appears in the Quran 92 times, like I said. Now here's another connection. Guess what else has a value of 92, ladies and gentlemen? The Kaaba itself, the very place that the Muslims go around 7 times. And make your what? Make your prayer, make your sujood. See, these are concepts. So when you give up hope and don't make the journey or don't make the prayer, that's Iblis right there. Okay. All right. Getting ready to close this out. So since 92 kept coming up a lot, as we saw, dealing with Iblis and dealing with the Kaaba, dealing with Sujood, let's go to Surah 92 and see if we can get some wisdom, because the Quran is good for that. It reads, by the night when it covers, in the day when it appears, there go duality. And the one who created the male and female, there go duality. Indeed, your effort is diverse or scattered. That's what it also says. So as for the one who gives and fears Allah and believes in the best, we will ease him towards ease. And then it also continues, but the one who believes in bad things or have no hope, we will ease him towards despair. We'll send them in that direction. So what you think is what we give you, in essence. What you think is what we give you. But I want to pay close attention to verse 6. And he believes in the best. Because we just saw that Iblis means giving up hope, to be in a state of despair, to not think the best can happen to any situation. That's Iblis, who's connected to the number 92. But when we go to Surah 92, Surah 92 informs us that, hey, if you believe in the best, you're going to get the best. But if you also believe that you're not, then this is what you get too. All representing states of consciousness. See how beautiful Quran is? See that? All right. Let's see what we got coming up. All right. So, Waswas was mentioned 5 times in Quran, right? Iblis as the root was mentioned 5 times in Quran, but you have 5 daily prayers, you see? So again, that whisper to be in opposition, to be opposed to, or give up hope on your prayer. That's Satan. That's Iblis. Winky dink. These are principles all related directly to one another using numerical occurrences. Quran is dope, man. Quran is something else. All right. So here's the question that I want you to ask your imam. Here's the question I want you to ask the sheikh, the caliph, the emir. What does Shayṭān use to whisper? We know that it said he whispers in the heart, but what tool does Shayṭān use? Because that's in the Quran, ladies and gentlemen. See if you've been paying attention to Friday's lectures. What tool does Shayṭān use to whisper? See if you can pick it up from here. Here it is. Remember, we said we're going to go to the very last verse, because the last time we see whisper, which whisper is the thing that we say that Shayṭān does. This is the very last time we're going to see this word, because this is the very last verse of the Quran. Y'all ready? Say, cool. I seek refuge with the Lord of mankind. Yes. The King of mankind. The true God of mankind. Here it is. From the mischief of the whispering, but it's not going to tell us what he used, though. Elusive prompter who returns again and again, who whispers in the hearts of the people, whether he be from the jinn or humans. Beautiful prayer. Kula, Audubu Rabinas, Malakinas, Elihinas, Min Sharil Waswasil Kanas. Oh, we're about to get into it. So, what does Shayṭān use? What is he using? We know he whispers, but okay, what is the whisper? What is the whisper connected to? Who returns again and again? Here's the answer, ladies and gentlemen. They say Shayṭān whisper and he runs and withdraws, but who is withdrawing? You think Satan is withdrawing? It's the retreating planets. The planets are the one that's withdrawing. The only time that we see this word used again in the Quran, withdraw, it means the planets that are retreating. Ask your Imam that. What's that connection? So the planets that retreat. Yes, because we are also taught in 65:12, Allah created the seven heavens and a similar number of earth, and his commands descends among them. There is no Shayṭān in that sense of mind. It's only Allah. It's all that exists. It's all that exists. So this is why we teach the heavenly path. Next week, the site will officially be up. We got one tweak to do, maybe done now. I probably need to refresh my browser. All right. But I show you the golden heart dawah, but the heavenly path, right? Qur'an tells us that in the heavens is your provision and everything you are promised. So you know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say, right? What I'm going to say. Well, everything I'm promised, show me my provisions in the heaven. And I want to get specific about everything I'm promised. There's certain experiences that we already had, ladies and gentlemen. We had health, right? Can you show me my spouse? That's a good one. My relationships are in the heavens. My money is in the heaven. My health is in the heaven. My friends are in the heaven. Everything that I experience is in the heaven. And that's like saying, it ain't like saying, you're really saying that God ain't got nothing for you. He already dropped it off. Your provision is in the heaven. He busy. He busy. Got things to do. You know how vast the universe is? It's infinite. That time you messing with you little humans, I'm gonna give y'all one great, I shouldn't say one, but I'm gonna give you a great revelation to be able to figure it out, put it together. I'm busy. And you know what? Here's another thing. Here's another thing I'm thinking about. Sometimes, oh boy, this is controversial. Man, send the peace and blessings of Allah to Allah. Like, you know how, like, think about it. Think how burdened, no matter how you see God, I don't care if you see God as a man, I don't care if you see God as invisible stream of conscious or something the mind can't even fathom because you just can't, but you just still believe. I don't care. You know how many people around the earth is calling upon God in some state of despair, some state of urgency, some state of just, let's just say, need and trauma. Yes. And here we are at times, we may not even be in that state of dire need of anything, right? You're not homeless, you're not hungry, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're all right. In fact, if you kind of really think about it, you're doing quite well, to be honest, in comparison to. You're not outside with a sign to say, feed me, because you really don't have no other means, right? So when you look at what I would call all of these emergency calls that's coming in, you know what it felt like to be bogged down with stress. And here's a kicker. Is everybody else stressed, right? Everybody's problem suddenly became your problem, right? Oh, man, let me pray for you. Hey, let me pray for you. Okay? Keep doing you. Alhamdulillah for you. And let me send the peace and love upon you. Right? Think about that. Think about that. Anyway, man, that concludes today's conversation and whatnot. Again, just wanted to touch it more from a numerical / metaphysical point of view. I do like to give the opportunity if someone have a question. If you want to have a conversation real quick, you can hit that link and ask the question and or comment. It's cool with me and whatnot. But yeah, man, check us out over at the I'm on Patreon, but you can also go to, I need to put this, goldenheartlovecenter.com, goldenheartlovecenter.com. That's the private house that we doing. Done. I'm waiting for it's a horrible rainy 2 weeks, man. Like, we don't have no sun in the forecast, so I'm really waiting for the next sunny day to give you the finished version of the greenhouse. Is finally done. Got a water fountain in the back as well. Y'all haven't seen that, so the outside is about done. I keep getting little ideas. So I did get a quote yesterday to put a pond in, because I got this one low spot. It's a hill back there, and when it keep raining, it floods up right there. And I'm like, you know what, man, I'm gonna dig a hole right there and just put a liner in there and put a pond in there, and that's gonna be really super dope. But anyway, bring you on that and bring you on the inside as well. Just waiting for the next sunny day to shoot everything, to just bring you up to speed. The Golden Heart Love Center. The Cash App is Golden Heart Love CTR. So anything that you could do is greatly appreciated. That goes to helping us continue to build this place and whatnot. Here's a question. I didn't see it in the chat. And the question is, what Quranic software are you using, brother? Corpus. Okay. And so I can show you in real time. All right. So let's do this. Let's share a tab and we come over here to Corpus. Bam. So it's corpus.quran.com. Okay. So word for word allows you to go to any verse in the Qur'an that you want to go to. Like we did Nas, right? And then we sitting here and we reading, you read it. And then you look and you say, wait a minute, the one who withdraws, what is that? You click on it, bam. And then it shows you every time that word was used. So it'll tell you what the root is, boom, 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 boom. So this is what we do. We do that. Okay. And then if you, like, this is Ka Nun Sin, then what you can do is come over here to Arabic Student Dictionary for yourself. But this is, you can copy and paste, and that's cool. You can use AI, but man, on the Dawah site, Golden Heart Dawah, we got an app on there, and I'll show you. You can actually learn the Arabic, and you should, because learning and creating new neurons and new neural synaptic channels in your brain is like doing cardio for your brain. It's important to learn. It really is, right? So we'll say cough or ka noon. When was it seen? Bam, put that in, right? Let's say a pug nose, right? I got to go back. What was that word? What was the root for that? It was cough noon, ka noon seen. Yeah, ka noon seen. That's what I thought it was. Ka noon seen, right? So then you would click on it, right? And then you click on this root right here in the C. See, the epithet of the devil, properly speaking, he who withdraws when the name God is mentioned. And so then the root word will pop up. Okay. And so this is where you kind of have to know the Arabic a little bit, right? So let's say we want to do N-U-R, should be light, I would think. Bam, light, nor, right? All right. And always hit explore root, because sometimes they may give you a different, a different set of words. So we always hit this button called explore root, right? Now, to take you over to, or maybe I'll just go to it, Golden Dawa. Boop. We come over here and whatnot. And we learn the Arabic, but you come all the way down. It's a link at the top too. Cool concept maps. Certain stuff that we talk about is all centered. You know what I mean? You can click on it and it's going to take you to these things that we talk about. So the Arabic word study is right here, right? And it give you the methodology that we just did. Okay. But this right here, learn the alphabet. You click on this, right? You can listen to it, right? And then you can take a quiz. So you study all 28 letters right here. The ba, ta, tha, right? So forth. So you can take a quiz. And it's 3 different type of quizzes you can take. Okay. And so let's just say we do letter name, whatever it is. So that's saying, what letter is this? Right. So that should be dal. Boom. And the goal is, when I teach classes, you got to get 100 3 times before you move on to the next thing. That lets me know, master this thing. Right? You don't want to get nothing wrong in language. You don't want to get nothing wrong when you're studying the cosmic laws either. It's like being a doctor. You get something wrong, man, you can kill somebody. It's not that serious that you can kill somebody with this, but you just want to be right, right? So that's fa and so forth, right? We just keep going. So that's a pretty cool thing. One thing about Arabic too, let me take another quiz. Let me say medial. The letter changes in the beginning, when it's also in the middle of a word, anywhere in the middle, and when it's at the end. So it's crazy. It has 3 different forms, and when it's separate all by itself. So really got 4 different forms. Okay. So we're looking for the aleph when it's in the middle. Yes, which should be here. That's what it looks like. Then when you look at the B when it's in the middle, you know, ba got 1 dot at the bottom. So that's a little cheat rule. Ba got a dot at the bottom. Yes. And you start developing. You're looking for medio ta. This one, so this should be tab. T, I call this one tab. Because notice it's a dot under this TA, and this look like a B, so I say TAB. So I start associating things on how I get to remember what the rule is, because you got another B, we call this a B in English, that also has a dot on it, but that's not ta, that's za when that happens. So that should be this here, you see? So, man, this is a beautiful thing, man. Scene, damn, boom. You know what I mean? Very beautiful thing, okay? And so we about to have an open enrollment pretty soon and whatnot. I'm not teaching the Arabic though. That's done and over with. So inshallah, maybe Janine will do it again. But you know, but we about to have an open enrollment in the fall. Yeah, the fall season. So next month is when we bring some people in and who want to study on Sundays, who can make that commitment. Sundays at 10 o'clock, we get together and whatnot. All right. Okay. Excuse me. So, but yeah, no questions. We good. But yeah, that's the software. Now, far as using, hey, how do I figure out what the abjad value is? You can take that root, right? You take that root. So let me show y'all how to do this real quick, right? Let me show y'all how to do this thing. All right. So say we take this root here. We copy it. But you still gotta know, but you can't always rely on AI, because AI can make a mistake, right? All right. And let me share this tab. All right. So then we can just come here, right? And then we can just be like, what is the abjad value of ka noon sin? Now, let me see if I can remember this off the top of my head. What is this ka? This ka is the other kaf 20? What is this ka? This ka may be 900, maybe. I forget what number that one is. But I know noon is 50, and I know sin is 600. No, I'm sorry. Seen is 60 and noon is, what is noon? Noon is 50. So 50 and 60 is 110. Whatever this value is, it's going to end in 10. I just can't remember what Chi is in a sense. Chi may be 800, 770. There we go. 710. See, I knew it was going to end in 10 because I know 50 and 60. You see what I'm saying? So Chi is 600. See, Chi is not necessarily a part of the original, what I would call the 22 letters of the Hebrew, because the Arabic system follows the first 22 letters of the Hebrew system, and Hebrew ends with Tau, which is 400. So anything past that, I can't remember those remaining 6 in the Arabic, but I know the other ones. You see what I'm saying? And so anyway, you'll come over here and you'll get your abjad value, but you want to make sure the math is right, because sometimes even though it's spit it out, that they may not add that up correctly. You know what I mean? That's a possibility. You see what I'm saying? And so this is how you get your abjad value right here. And then that's why it becomes incumbent upon us to now create our own abjad study sheet, your own definitions. Because again, when it comes to the Arabic, I am yet to see, I hope I was able to see my screen. I am yet to see a book that we can go to, like an see, in Hebrew, we got something called Godwin's Kabbalistic Encyclopedia. I can go look up a word, light, and light in English says, well, it equals 214 because or is 214. And then under 214, it'll tell me I can go to another portion, look up 214, and it'll give me every Hebrew word that equals 214. It's an encyclopedia. I haven't seen that in the Arabic. So you have to create your own. You see what I'm saying? And yeah, you just gotta create your own. Because again, see, I wouldn't know those connections had I not started keeping track of these things. And then, like I showed before, I color code it. So if it's a match on a number 92, then okay, let me turn 92 yellow. Okay, somewhere on my sheet, I got another 92 that's yellow. You see what I'm saying? So anytime I get a pair or more, it could be 3, 4, but anything 2 plus, I color code it, because I mean I got a hit, I got another matching number somewhere. You see what I'm saying? And then you look at your matching numbers and see what the story is telling. Okay, that's the key. That's the key that I use for Qur'an. All right, and listening for the revelation to come. Right now, I got to get back on the mother of the book. There's something in there. All right, because the secret, I'm telling you, the secret of secrets is something dealing with a woman. The question I'm posing is, does this woman have a name that is being used to describe her? Because the secret, without a shadow of a doubt, is a woman. Now, the question is, like I just said, does this woman have a name? That's the journey I'm on next, because that's the secret password at the highest degree, is something dealing with a woman. Okay? We good? Alhamdulillah, man. You good, man. You good. Okay? All right, man. Hit me up, man. If you can, Cash App, Golden Heart Love Center, Love CTR. All right. Happy Friday to you, man. Hope y'all have a great, great, great weekend. Inshallah, the rain to stop. We can get outside and make some video content and whatnot. But check out goldenheartlovecenter.com, goldenheartlovecenter.com. You can check that out. And then the Golden Heart Dawah, that'll be available next week. Okay. All right, man. We're going to get out of here with the idol Kursi. This is the one that gets rid of the demons, the Shayṭān, the negative energy. This one right here. Okay. It's one of my faves. All right. I'll see you next week, but join me in the Patreon if you can. We'd love to have you. Let's turn it all the way up, man. Let's make some things happen. Oh, and speaking of the Patreon, every first Saturday of the month, we do a Patreons day with myself. B come in from the AI perspective, then I bring Sharita Moneybags in, who is like, you want to talk about Virgo to the 10th power. If somebody created, she's the person who created terms and conditions. All that fine print that I just hit the checkbox. I'm not about to read all that because I know you ain't gonna give me the service if I don't check it, right? So she's that person to pay attention to details to help you in your business, man. So very, very genius when it comes to marketing and ideas of helping you out. We do that every first Sunday. So if you got ideas, aspiring entrepreneur, I like to come from the spiritual angle, but I have been known to help a few brothers reach 6 figures when I get in corporate mode. So I ain't no slouch over there either. But I want to play a spiritual angle and just help you the best way I can. Help you with this automation, dealing with AI and everything. And Sharita help you with marketing and AI as well. Okay. All right, man. I get with y'all. Peace.
الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم